everybody. Welcome to another episode of the Redwood Podcast. We're here today to ask the question, why don't we recover well? I'm here with my co-host, Angelo Liloc. I'm Samuel Johnson. And this question I pose to you, Angelo, why don't you recover?
Right to it. I love
Yes.
it. That is actually something I personally struggle with, recovery. And it's funny that I'm saying that out loud because I know how important it is, especially coming from a fitness background, how important it is to recover. It's equally as important to recover as it is to exert all that strength and, doing your workouts and to actually work out and break down the muscle. The recovery piece is actually a big factor. Personally, it's hard for me to do that because my mind is always going. I have to create a rhythm into my routine to make me slow down and recover, because it's not something I naturally do. I'm a go, go, go type person. So to answer your question, why don't I recover? It's because I'm just so forward minded and I lose sight of the importance of recovery.
I think that's so good. Losing focus on why it's important.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's key. I want to think about that some more. Let me tie it into this, right? Like, so I do a lot of running, and my watch will tell me, it says, like, after I'm done running, it says, great run, you're going to need 44 hours of recovery time.
Yeah.
No.
Liar. You're a liar.
I know, like we think we can cheat, right? We think we can cheat recovery. And I think our culture of hacking and biohacking is robbing us of the gift of recovery. And life is fast paced, right? I mean, you were just talking about that, like, I'm go, go, go. And our culture tells us, and I'm not saying that about you personally, I'm saying our culture tells us we can't slow down. And there's something weak or ineffective about recovery. And unfortunately, that's prime suspect for burnout, exhaustion, injury.
Mm-hmm.
And if we want to take this on an emotional, spiritual spin, you're more ready for attack or a fall if you're not well recovered, well rested, well revived in a spiritual sense or an emotional sense. You're more open for injury or emotional attack, spiritual attack.
Let's visit that for a second. If you can unpack that for a little bit, because I think that a lot of our listeners kind of fall in between. I'm a regular churchgoer and I have no idea who Jesus is and what's going on, but I like what you guys are talking about, so I stick around, right? So it's kind of an interesting
and we're glad
variety.
You do. Thank you for
and we're glad you do, of course. Thank you for being here. There's a wide variety of people that are listening. So when we think, when I'm trying to put myself in their position where they're like, what does that mean when I'm spiritually tired or being under, I open myself up for like an attack or something?
Yeah. So it doesn't mean you're going to be infiltrated by a demon or a spirit. It doesn't mean you're going to be possessed, right? So let's get that off the table or on the table, however you want to look at it, right? So you're not going to have to find a priest and be, get the sign of the cross put over you. We're not talking about that, but you're just, you're more likely to snap at your loved ones. You're more likely to make the wrong decision at your job. You're more likely to be distracted while you're driving. So I mean, these things that we just chalk up for, like, oh, I'm just tired and I'm burnout. Well, maybe if you investigated a little bit why, you might need some spiritual retreat. You might need, and what does that mean? Well, it might mean some time to pray, or some time to connect, some time in nature, some time to go for a walk, or to be quiet, or to listen to music. I mean, there are lots of ways to recharge and re-energize, but most of them require slowing down and doing little or nothing. Our bodies were made to rest. Our bodies were made to rest.
I love that you bring it here because I think there's three pieces to this where do I need rest? Do I need to recover? Or do I need to just reflect? And that's kind of how I assess myself. So if it's like a general, I'm just tired, I've had a heavy week, I might just need rest. It's nothing specific. I need to fill my cup back up. And in a moment, I'm going to ask you maybe some ways that you take rest or how do you rest? How do you do that? That's just general rest. Recover. It's like recover is more intentional. How I look at it, if I just had a really hard workout, I need to recover from that workout.
Yes.
There's something that took out energy that I need to be focusing to put back into. And then there's moments in life where I just need more reflection. I've just been taking in so much and I just need to look back and kind of start to look at the data that's been going on. Look at, are there any trends? Is there anything that God's trying to tell me? Or is there something that my soul and my spirit is yearning for, but I'm ignoring? So trying to have that higher level of self-awareness. So it's, do I need rest? Do I need to recover? Or do I just need to reflect? Because sometimes my cup is so full, or sometimes it feels like it's full, or sometimes it's just empty, really.
Yeah. And
So
sometimes,
that's when you need to reflect. Go ahead.
if you'll permit me, sometimes we will trick ourselves into thinking we have more in our cup than we do. So,
So true.
and I just want to add this too. Like sometimes there are seasons of those words that you said. Sometimes you have seasons where you need to recharge. Sometimes you have seasons where you need to reflect. Sometimes you have seasons where you need to recover. I have gone through some seasons of what other people might have called depression, and I don't necessarily see them as that anymore. I see them as seasons of forced recovery.
I like that forced recovery.
My mind prior to those seasons where I just was done was incredibly active, incredibly busy. And the reason I bring this up is I think sometimes, especially as men, women may do this too, but right now I'm speaking directly to men. We think we're bad or wrong or lazy or weak if we can't push through something that's challenging. Maybe you need a season of recovery or reflection. Now, I'm not talking about laziness. There is laziness, and that's something you've got to evaluate. But I can look back on those seasons and go, I wasn't being lazy. I needed to reevaluate and refocus and retool. And it was something that was needed. Now, at the time, I didn't like it, but it was important and valuable. It was an important and valuable season.
So yeah, I think that's like the achiever's dilemma.
Yeah.
You know, like we we feel good when we're doing things, when we're accomplishing things, when we're getting things done and crossing it
Yeah.
off the checklist. The world tells us, oh, that's success. You're winning. You're doing good things. And you totally could be.
Yeah.
But that's where the achiever's dilemma comes in because you don't rest. Because if you're not achieving, if you're not doing, you in your mind, you're like, I'm losing. But that's not it. You taking time to rest and recover does not automatically mean that you are losing by any means. You're probably setting yourself up to win even bigger,
That's right.
even better, even faster, if you think about it. But if we're, as a society, if we're not constantly doing something, we're like, oh man, I'm lazy. Like, just like you said, right? I'm lazy, I'm this, I'm that. But if you look at the overall, the grander picture, you're actually getting more done than most people would. It's like that story of chopping down, chopping down a tree. There's two guys chopping down a tree.
Right.
One just going at it, no rest, no break, no sharpening, and just he keeps going consistently. And then the other guy, he'll take a couple swings, and then he'll stop, stretch out a little bit, sharpen his axe, a
Yeah.
few more swings. Most people are like the one that just keeps on going and going and going. That's probably how the U.S. is.
Yeah.
But what he doesn't realize is his axe has become more and more dull. So every swing, every blow of his blade is
It's wasted energy.
less and less effective versus
Yeah.
the guy who's taking time, hydrating, stretching, sharpening his axe. He's being more effective. So we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Am I being efficient or am I being effective?
Yeah. Yeah. And are you tricking yourself into thinking you're efficient when you're not really efficient? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to just highlight this is before we start heading to land the plane, but this idea of people that chase mountaintop experiences, right? And I'm going to tie this into, dopamine rush after dopamine rush after dopamine rush. Okay, fine, if that's what you're going for. But at some point, dopamine is exhausted, right? And you're going to crash. Versus maybe you need to intentionally go into the valley. And, I've talked about this analogy before, but nothing grows on the mountaintops. It is important to go into the valley. And it's never fun. It's never fun. I walk through the valley with my clients all the time, and they want to get out of it. Quick anecdote. Years ago, I was in one of these, what I call now reflective stages. Other people would say it was depression. Diagnosable depression, probably. And a professor of mine knew what I was going through. He wasn't speaking directly to me, but he did say this. He's like, if you don't know why you're in the valley, if you don't know why you're in depression, don't leave it until you know why. And that was upsetting. I was very angry with him. But I can see it now looking on the other side. And with people that I work with, it's important to know why we're there. And what I see in the world is people running away from their valley by thinking somehow they can biohack or mentally hack themselves to their next peak. And it's a fool's errand.
That's a lot of wisdom in the last 2 minutes that I'm still trying to digest right now. And I'm like, whoa. Yeah. Don't leave it until you're, what is it? Don't leave it until you're ready, or don't leave it until you get
Don't
something?
leave it until you know why you were there. Don't rush out of your difficult season until you have some type of understanding about it. I was very wise. Great wisdom.
Yeah, you got to sit with that one. You really got to sit with that one. Because if we think about how we're wired, we run from pain and we run towards pleasure. And when you're in that valley, in that shitty season, you don't want to be there longer.
That's right.
Yet this wisdom is actually telling you should probably stay there a little bit more until you figure out why.
Until you know why you're here.
Yeah.
And the truth is, at least for me, once you understand why, that's when you'll probably get out of it.
Yeah. Eric Thomas says it best. He's like, you're already hurt. You're already in pain.
Yeah.
Why don't you get something from it?
Right. That's right.
Right?
Amen. Yeah.
So what's your tip for the listener right now?
My tip.
What's your actionable?
Stop running. And I mean literally, just stop. This is a quote. Don't just try something. Don't keep going. Just stand there, right? So the opposite one is, well, why are you just standing there? Do something.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you stop doing something and just stand there?
Cool. Ask yourself this. Ask yourself this, people. Are you being efficient or are you being effective? Good stuff. I was going to shout out our one person who's probably like, I'm not sure why I'm here, but I like listening. Shout out to you. We appreciate you.
Yeah. And maybe this one was for you.
Maybe this one was for you.
Yeah.
This one's for you. All right, brother. I appreciate you. We'll see you guys soon.
Same thing. All right, everybody. Thanks. Take care.
Thank you, guys.